Hello and welcome. This is Ruth and today I've got kit number 72 from Tonic Studios, and this one is called A Walk on the Wild Side. So you can see I've already put my little sticker on the top of my folder with the dies and stamps inside there. I'm just going to have a very quick look through all the contents of the kit and then we'll start to make something. I think you're really going to enjoy this one. It's very colourful and bright and just the thing for this time of year. You can see here we've got a binder. So these are in the kits every 3 months, and obviously then 3 of these little folders with the dies and stamps inside will fit inside your binder, and that's a really good way to keep them all together and all sort of the same. If you like to keep everything organised, this is the thing to do. This then is the little folder with my sticker already on it, and you can see here all the lovely dies. So we've got a little tortoise, a sloth, a frog, an alligator, a crocodile, a koala bear and a panda, and then lots of foliage and bits and pieces that go along with that. All these little pieces here are eyes, and you'll be able to cut all of those out together and then add them into the centre of all of these. And these are really cute. There's lots of ways we can use them, but on the front of this little folder here it shows you some different ways already. So we've got a drinking straw with this on the top of it, and then the little panda face down here as well. And this is a beautiful bag decorated. You'll be able to scan this little QR code as well, and then that will take you to some more ideas. And then inside here we've got 2 probably scrapbook pages, and they're decorated with some of those little creatures as well, and they are really cute. So you see on the inside of this as well the list introducing Walk on the Wild Side and your kit contains. So it'll show you the dies and stamps and then a list of all the cardstocks that's going to be in there, and 6x6. The rest of those things then we'll find in here. Next we've got our folder with all the A4 cardstock inside there, and I'm just going to show you some really bright colours and then some others that go really well along with that to use with those little creatures. I have it all here, greens and greys and everything, but I'm just going to read you off the list of names from this little leaflet here. So we've got pewter grey, misty grey, grass green, olive green, pistachio green, chocolate brown, tan brown, fuchsia pink and blossom pink. There is the stamp set, and the stamp set is really lovely. There's 2 animal prints on it there, and then some sentiments. So you're the cutest, oh snap, shallow, need a hug, let's go wild, see you gator, it's your birthday, and let's hang out. Plenty of uses for those as well. Now I really like this. This is inside too, and it says a gift from us to you, so you can redeem 2 paper packs of your choice from this month's kits while stocks last, so get in there early. 2 free paper packs, and these are all the colours that are in the kit, and these are the instructions. So right up until the 20th of October before this expires. So do make good use of that. Don't just let that lie in the bottom of your box. And then we'll have a quick look at what's inside the lovely grey bag of mystery. First of all, there's this 6x6 Craft Perfect Principle Pearlescence. So we've got majestic gold, ivory sheen, pearl white and onyx black, and these are 4 colours, 6 of each, 250 GSM pearlescent card. And I find those are a really great size, just to have a little sample of lots of the colours that you can use as foils for all of those beautiful texture weave cards as well. Then we have Aquaflow pens, and there are 3 here, and this is from the Autumn Woodland collection. So these are brush tip watercolour pens, and along with this little water brush as well, you just remove this little yellow piece, and then you can, on this one, you can fill the reservoir full of water, and then that's your little brush. On these ones, these have the colour as well, so you'll just squeeze that very gently to get the colour down through the nib, and you'll get lots of uses for those as well. This one then is a glitter marker, and it's Lemon Drizzle. You activate that one by pumping up and down on the nib once you take the lid off, and that's a really sparkly pen. And then lastly we've got apple green crystal drops. They do look lush, don't they? So I'm going to go and do some die cutting, and I'll be right back. But while I'm doing that, don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel I would love you to do that. And I'd love you to also hit the notification bell. That way you'll be able to see lots of these as they come up and you won't miss another video. I have already got lots and lots of kits. This is number 72, so most of them are there in my playlist if you want to check back on those. But by hitting that notification bell, that'll keep you up to date with new ones as they come along as well. And then if you do enjoy the video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and leave me a little comment too, because that really helps my channel along. So I'll be right back. Well, that was fun. I've got all of my dies on the big magnetic stand here so that I don't lose any of them, because there's lots and lots of them, and you actually need a couple of each, 2 or 3 sometimes, for each of these little creatures or little animals. So I've gone ahead, I've actually got loads of pieces cut out, as you can probably see here, the foliage and the eyes and bits and pieces, and some in there as well. So I thought I'd start off with a lovely little panda because he's just so cute. Now I've cut out the outside, you can see the dies here actually, so I've cut this one out in white and in black for each panda. Maybe we'll just zoom in a little bit. So I've got the whole white panel on the back there. I have then cut the black panel and I have set this little die into the centre of it there, just down at the base actually, and I've die cut that out, so that leaves me with these little pieces cut out of that. And then once you pop that onto the white, you'll be able to see those white pieces coming through. See it all coming together like that. And then we cut this piece and you can glue that directly on top. So this is essentially sort of 3 layers on the head, although you could cut that piece off, you don't necessarily need that, but I think it gives it a little bit of stability and it just keeps it all in place, so it's quite nice to have that there. So we'll glue that on top, and then this goes on here, and then you can see I've got, it sounds really strange, but I've got an assortment of eyes in here, and I'm going to pick out the ones that I need to do this. But just while you're gluing all of this together, if you don't glue this little hand down, you'll be able to slip the eucalyptus. I'll show you here. Slip the eucalyptus just in there, and well, I just think that looks cuter because he looks like he's holding on to it, and then you can glue that down afterwards and glue this in place. However, now that I've showed you how to do this one, I'm actually going to make another one and reverse it. So I've cut out the white again. I'm just going to pop that over, and I don't actually need to do this, but I'll just do it anyway and it'll keep it all flat. I take my little bone folder and just flatten down where the die cut has sort of raised edges on it there, and this one you can see is a sort of mirror image to that one. I've done exactly the same thing as I did with the black area. I've cut that out here, and I've gone over all those edges with my bone folder as well, just to smooth them all down, and I'm going to glue that directly on top there. And then this time, instead of reversing the face over, I'm actually just going to use the face the way it is, but we'll just tilt it this way. Yeah, that's it. And again, I'll not glue this down because I'll be able to put the eucalyptus in, and I'll be able to put the eyes in there. Now you can see, if you look very, very closely, you'll be able to see that this is actually cut on the reverse, but it's not that noticeable because, well, first of all, I've flattened down these edges, and then secondly, when the eucalyptus goes in there, there's actually very little of it noticeable at all. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that, and then I'll come back with the eyes. Well, actually, I have picked out oval eyes. I hope I've got some more of them there. If not, I'll have to cut them again. But I have cut little oval eyes, and then I took just a very fine pen and I drew the black into the center there. Anyhow, I'll go ahead and start to glue this all up. Really enjoying myself with this one. So I've got a 5x5 card here, and then I took 2 nesting square dies, and I made myself a little frame for just inside that. Those are older Tonic ones, but I'm sure you'll be able to figure something out, or you could even just cut a mat and take the inside out with a craft knife or something like that. Then I went for 2 older Tonic hearts and I have layered them on top of each other, the two pinks that are from this kit, and I'm going to put that in the center. I think what I'm going to do first is put this on, and then I'm going to stamp in You're the Cutest just down at the bottom there, because I've worked that out that it does actually fit in there just below that. So I'm going to do that first. I might need to just move that up slightly to fit it in. I'll put this on first just to be sure I've got it centered, and then I'll stamp that one on. Whenever I've done that, then I have got my two little pandas, and I think rather than have them going this way, I'm going to put them back to back, and their heads are sort of tilted in a nice angle. And I'm going to put this one on with glue, and then this one has got 3D foam pads in the back, and I'll pop that on there, and I've got one of the little flowers, and I'm going to put it on there, and then I'll add some of this, but I'll just speed it up as I'm doing all of that, and you can watch. This one's going to be really easy, so I have gone ahead and layered some white card straight onto some of this beautiful card from here. I think that's the Majestic Gold, maybe, yes. And then I'm going to put that on here. I've stamped the shallow, so obviously you know now I'm going to use the tortoise. I love little tortoises. I cut the main shape out, then I'll just show you the die here. These are the two dies that I've used. So I've actually cut this one out in the brown, then I've cut it again in this olive green, and then I have set this one on top, and that cut out all of these little pieces here. And that means, well, you can keep those and actually paper piece them back onto another one if you want, or paper piece them back in a different colour, maybe the sort of a creamy colour, or even this goldy colour here. That might be quite nice. But I've done that, and I'm just going to glue one on top of the other, and you'll see that lovely little turtle or tortoise there. Then I've added the little eye on, and on top of that I put some morning dewdrops. So you can see there I actually put black on the eye, but the morning dewdrops changed that to brown. That's just one little thing to bear in mind. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it works well with this, so it's not a problem. But I find that morning dewdrops, I really love those. You probably know that already. But when you add them onto red, it sort of takes the colour out and makes them orange. And when you add it onto black, it sometimes just changes it to brown as well. Anyhow, there we are. We've got our little tortoise, and you can probably see here I've gone back to an old stamp club from quite a while ago. It's called Good Vibes, I think that one was called. There it is. And I've taken the little skateboard stamp and die, and I've made myself a little skateboard. I haven't coloured it awfully well there, but I'm going to put that on here, and then add this little tortoise on top of that with a 3D foam pad. And then you can see here that I have got lots of foliage, and obviously, and it's just being silly, but the tortoise cannot use a skateboard if it's going through grass, so I'm going to put that at the corners here. And I'll just go ahead and glue all that up together. Okay, I decided to make a different card, and actually from these dies arrived, I've had this idea in my head of having a little leaping frog on a card, and I just wanted to make a couple of other simpler ones first, and then try to work out how this would actually come together and work. So I've made a few little templates, and I think I've got it, so let's see if it goes. Now I've used this die then to cut out two shapes, and one of them I just left as it was, and the other one then, when I had that cut out, I put this die into the center of it like so, cut that out, and that gave me this darker green shape here, which I've just glued directly on top of the other. And then as you can see, I've added the little eyes in there. You can put googly eyes in there if you want. You can just make little eyes from hole punches or whatever, but all of those little eyes are in the kit, and you may as well have a look through them and see what you like. But you can add little crystal drops, black or whatever, so there's loads of ways of doing that. Now I actually put this little piece through again, so you can see it just there, just the little mouth, and I cut that out in white. So I just really put a piece of white card in behind it like that, cut it out, and then with some alcohol markers I just coloured the lips or the little mouth in brown, and then the little tongue in pink, and I glued that back in again, so it's just paper pieced in, and now I've got my little froggy. Next I've taken a little A6 card, and it's going to be in landscape mode. So I have found the center and then just punched a little half circle. You could do that with a die or a circle or whatever, but just in the front of it here. And then I have made a little sort of template thing with one of these dies. So you could use a scalloped circle die, whatever, but if you do already have this die set here, which is the luggage tag box die set, you'll find this one down at the bottom here, and that would work fine. I know some of you already have that, that's why I've used that one, but any scallop circle die would suit. Round about this size, and it doesn't even have to be exactly that size. That measures, let's see, 4.5 centimeters across, but give or take a bit, it still will work. Now you can see there that I've just scored a line or marked a line down the center across both ways, found the center point, and taken a small hole punch and punched a little hole in there. We don't need this hole up at the top, that's irrelevant, it's not even going to be used, but it's there. So now I want to add this onto the little frog with a little brad. So I've got a brad here. Now I could, what I'm actually wanting to do is put this down at the bottom so that you can, when the card is opened like this, I'll be able to move this around and then the frog will move back and forwards. I know, it's just the way my head was going. Now I could actually punch a little hole or poke a little hole through there and directly behind this, and then you would have the little split pins of the brad coming through here, and then I could cover that, but I didn't really want to do that, so I've cut a little piece of card that I'm going to put this through and then just glue the card on by the edges here on to the actual card front. So this one measures, and again this doesn't have to be precise, but this one actually measures almost 3 centimeters that way by 11.5, and I have punched a little hole just directly in the center of that. Now first of all I'm going to attach a little piece of acetate. This is quite stiff acetate, it's actually Tonic's construction weight acetate. So I have cut a piece of that to 8 centimeters long, and it's roughly 1/4 centimeter, between 1/4 and 1/2 centimeter wide. So first of all you can see that I have put a little bit of double-sided tape on the bottom of it there, and I'm going to peel that off, and then that will get attached directly on here. Now you don't want that to go over this part where the brad will go through, but it's just enough to have it attached straight up there, and that will hold the little frog on here. And I've put some foam tape on here because I want the frog just to be raised off the card slightly, because I'm going to have to add a piece on over here. So now I'm going to take that off, and I actually will just put a little bit of glue on that as well, just for extra security. This is not really for the adhesion, this is really just for dimension, and I'm going to get that right on there and right up to the top. There. So there we have our little frog attached. Now what I want to do next is then put this on here and put my little brad through that, and that will leave a little sort of moving mechanism. I'm actually using quite a small brad here. Whoops, it's very, very small. It's actually quite difficult to use, but if you've got one slightly bigger than this, get it through there and open the little split pins at the back, and now you can see that this will move back and forward. I like the way it's coming together. So I am now going to put this on here. Now I've measured that obviously so that it's not coming off the top of the card, but it doesn't really matter if it comes off just slightly more than that. But here we are, and you can see that this then needs attached on here. So I'm just going to glue these edges. I don't want to obscure this at all. So I'm going to put glue down here, just there, and there. And then remember that this has got to be down here where I can get at it, and the frog has got to be up at the top. And there we are. And as long as you haven't got glue coming in behind here, that's definitely going to move back and forwards. But I'm going to wait until the glue dries properly. But there we are. There we have it. Now I've cut out some panels to put on here, and this one is going to be sort of represent grass, and I actually could have put that on first and put it in behind there, but I just wanted to be sure that everything was in place. So I've cut a piece of the pistachio green card, and this one measures 15.5 centimeters wide by 5 centimeters, and I'm going to glue that directly in behind that little frog, and that's sort of like a grassy background, and the frog can move back and forwards quite freely over it. So I'm leaving a little bit of white around that just to give a little border. And then I've taken this piece. So this is actually a piece of Arctic blue card which I had in my stash. Hopefully you'll have something blue, because this is to represent the little pond or the little water area that the frog's jumping over. Oh dear, my head has gone, hasn't it? Anyway, I have glued that directly onto a piece of 300 GSM white card just for stability. And both of those measure 15.5 centimeters by 6.5. And you can see there that I have put double-sided sticky pads onto the corners of it, and I want to leave that centerpiece open just to give it a little bit of movement around here. And I'm going to pop that directly on there, and I want to just move it slightly up from the bottom so that I can still get at the little piece there where the let me see, got that straight, so that I can still see this little piece here, and that moves that back and forwards. Oh, it's just the little things, but that makes me really happy. A leaping frog. Whoever would have thought? It's the simple things and the little things. Now, I've gone ahead. I'm sure you think I'm crazy by now, but I'm enjoying this, and I hope you are too. I've gone ahead and I have cut out some little pieces of the grey, and these are going to represent sort of rocks that this little froggy is going to jump across on the pond. And honestly, I know this is going from bad to worse, but it's cute and I like it. And we're going to have that on there, and I'm just going to, I've only cut 2 of these out in each colour, and I think I'll pop that one on there. And so long as there's room for this frog to go back and forwards, we're good to go with that. That one possibly in there. But you'll see as I go ahead now and start to glue all of these pieces on, this hopefully will come to life a little bit. I've got lots of little lily pads in 2 different shades of green, so I can sort of group those together. I can have them going either way. Across here, I've cut out some little bulrushes, and then I've just taken a brown alcohol marker and coloured the top in. So I've cut those out in green, and I'm going to assemble those around here. And then I've got water lilies that are going to go on in here in 2 shades of green. And then I have taken some of these little pieces as well, and I'm probably going to chop those off and put them in behind the rocks and whatever. But I'm going to glue this all together now, and hopefully it will turn out really nice. Remember to keep this one quite short, because the frog's going to leap back and forwards there, and I had that one just a little bit too high, and thankfully it wasn't stuck down too well, so I gently took it back off and put a smaller piece on. But if you're watching this before you make it, I'll add a little note in at the beginning anyway, just to edit that, but this would need to be quite short, just so those little legs go right over the top of it anyway. Now I'm going to take a an alcohol marker. This one is Turtle Dove, and I'm going to add some shading onto these little rocks here just to give a little bit of definition, and then I'm going to add some of my crystal drops into the center of the flowers and maybe a couple of dots around here, and that's it. I'm glad that turned out well after having worked so hard at making a template and trying to get it all together, but I'm really happy with it. And you can see there that I've actually added 3D foam pads on this one just to raise that lily leaf up a little bit, and then I've gone ahead and added another piece of this. I cut this one in half down the center and put half here and here, and I've just put another one on here, but the card will stand up beautifully, and then we've got the added bonus of the little leaping frog. And I don't know, but that made me happy, and I hope it makes you happy too. Now it's the turn of the little sloth. So I've taken this die and I've cut it out in the tan brown, and then I've cut the same one out in the chocolate brown, and I have used this die into the center of it, and that then has cut out the eyes and these little spots on here. And then there's a little die which cuts out this piece, and I've cut that and I'm going to add that on here. Now I've looked at lots and lots of photos of sloths. In fact, my son is just back from a sort of a world tour. He's been traveling around all over South America and all different places, and he sent me videos and all sorts of things of sloths while he was away. They're quite strange colors. Their color changes depending on the fur and the way it sits. So it's actually, I'm not too sure whether this is a really good representation, but anyway, I think it looks nice. So forgive me for that one if they are a bit lighter or a bit paler grey or whatever in your eyes. Just change up the colours a bit, but I think this looks good. And there we are. Now I think I will come back with crystal drops, or maybe even just, yeah, I think I'll paper piece that little nose back in later. I haven't got the piece cut now for it, so I'll just wait and do that later. So we've got 3 little feet or legs, arms, whatever. Yeah, they're hands, aren't they? I'm not too sure. All I do know is from looking at them in my son's photographs that they have really big long nails on there. So I have cut a little tag out, and they're from this die set again, just the one that I was using before. But obviously there's lots of tag dies about, and you could even just hand cut one if you wanted. But I've got this, and then this is the little bark, tree, branch, whatever, from the kit. And I've cut that out in the tan brown, and I'm going to glue that. I just want to make sure that it suits this okay. So yeah, we'll go about there. I'm going to glue that on and then add some of the foliage and bits and pieces on that. So this one is a lot simpler than the last make, but hopefully equally as happy looking at the end of it. And then I think I'll maybe just glue him on there with those little feet there, and he's just waving high as he hangs there. And here we are, some glue. And I was going to put him hanging from the top of that, but it means you can't see too much. So we'll assume that there's something there to grip onto. And there he is. Just don't get too carried away by it all and worry about all those little details. Just enjoy the fun of it all. Now I've got some little branches cut. I'm going to nip off pieces of those and put them on. And then I'll put the little flower and some, maybe even a couple more. So I'll just speed this up as I go ahead and add those pieces on. I thought the little sloth would look really cute if he, she or it was holding a flower as well. So I've put one down there on this little free hand. So he, she or it is giving you a little flower. And I'm not going to add those crystal drops in until I get to the end of that one. But I have stamped out Let's Hang Out from the stamp set in the kit. And I've just sort of cut it out and with a little nick out of the side here. And gone around the outside with a little fine liner and popped that on 3D foam pads. Do you know, I'm not even sure if that's the kind of thing you would put on a tag or whatever, but it just suited that really nicely, and I thought we'll go with that one. So I probably haven't said this before, but this whole kit is just something that you would use with lots of other things that you've got. So the little animals and whatnot are sort of standalone, and you need to bring out some of your other things, or you can just put them directly onto cards, but I find that you can use loads of other things with them. They make lovely little happy things and that you could add onto cards, or little place names, or even into memory books, all of that sort of thing. But definitely have a look through your die sets and see what you've already got and use it along with them. So this time I have gone back for a little rosette. Now there's 2 dies. I keep this one right by my desk all the time. It's really, really handy. This is the Loaded Pockets rosette die set. It may not even be available anymore, but I know there's one that has just I've used lately with a kit. So I'll pop the name of that down below in the description of the video as well. And I've taken this die out of it, and I'm just going to roll this up. So all I need is a little quilling tool and some glue along here, and then I'm going to, let's see, get at that better, roll that up, pop a little bit of white ribbon in. I've already cut myself some, and I'll put it through here, and then I will add the little crystal drops in there. And you can see I've paper pieced the little nose in. Not sure if I've already said that, but I took this little piece that cuts the center grey piece out there, and I popped it over some tan brown card and popped that on there. So let's roll this up and get cracking. I'm going to make a card now with the little koala bear. It is really, really cute. So I have picked out this little sentiment here and stamped it onto a piece of white card, which is 9 centimeters by 13.5. And then I've matted that onto some pistachio green and put that onto an A6 card. And I've left a lovely broad border this time. Then I have cut out this die from the darker grey and also from the lighter grey. And on the lighter grey one, I have set this little die inside it, so that would be facing down that way. And then this is the lighter grey, and I have glued one on top of the other. Now I went ahead with the little eye die. It's this one, and I cut that out in black, and then I put the little black eyes on there. And just take a little minute or two to check where you're putting those, because it really does change the look of the little koala bear. In fact, if anything, just where its eyes are positioned and the angle of them. Then I ran this little die right through again and got a little shiny black nose with the pearlescent black card from the little 6x6 pad, and paper pieced that back in there again. And I've got a really cute, and actually there's lots of those, you know, this says you're the cutest, because obviously that is really lovely, but you could have let's go wild, or you could have let's hang out, it's your birthday, or need a hug. Any of those would be appropriate for this one, so you can mix and match those quite a lot as well. Now I wanted obviously this little koala bear to be climbing up a tree, so I've cut 2 of these dies out, and this time I'm going to make this longer, so I've cut out 2 of them, and I'm going to turn them around and just glue them on like so, making sure that they don't get in the road of this. When I get this on, then I'm going to add this on 3D foam pads, and then I'll pop the beautiful little flower onto the koala bear's head. And now I'm just going to add a lot of foliage around here and sort of bring all these greens together. I thought it might be nice to make a little place setting then for the little alligator, but obviously you could use this on a card as well. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous, or all sorts of things. But I've taken a piece of white card here. This is 300 GSM, and it is 8.5 centimeters this way by 10 this way, and you can give or take a bit. It doesn't have to be exact, but I have scored this in half at 5 centimeters and then burnished that with my bone folder. So I've got a little place name setting, and that would be really good for a kid's party or something like that. So I've taken the 2 alligator dies. I have cut this one out twice. So one is from the pearlized card, this one from the little 6x6 pack, and then the other one is from the olive green. Now you can see here what I've done. I've actually gone ahead, and cut it out a 3rd time from the other green, and then on the third one, before I go any further with that, I have used this die into the center and I've cut all those details out, and that has given me this shape. And then I have put the two little eyes in. So those were two big white eyes from there, and then I drew the black dots on top. So you can see I was going to put this directly on here, but then I thought I wanted a little more different green inside. So I took this piece, which was exactly the same as this one, and I'll just pop it on so you can see what I've cut off. I cut off an area just straight down there and around that corner, and then down here, and then that, you can see here, whenever I glue that on and this on top, I'll have the green showing through here, and then that lovely sort of creamy ivory card showing through there and on the nose. And it just gives a pretty simple way of doing a sort of a three-tone effect. So I'll glue this together and then this one on top. Now I'm going to glue this directly onto here, or I think I'll use 3D foam pads, and I'm going to leave a little bit just hanging off the top of the card there, just at the fold, little place name. And I've cut out bits and pieces of foliage which I'm going to put along here. But if you were using that for a little place name and you did actually want a child's name on it, you would just go ahead and put that there. When you come to add these pieces on, it's absolutely fine to have them hanging off at the sides here, but because you want this little card to stand up, you really do need to remember to nip them off at the bottom there if they overhang there. Hold your scissors just directly against the side of this and you'll be able to cut that really, really straight. And there we have it, and a couple of little drops. We'll just finish that one. I really, really love this set. I really do think you're going to enjoy it too, because there's so much you can do with it. So you don't even just have to stick to cards the way I've done here. Loads of your little boxes, the dimension die sets and whatnot, you can add these on. In fact, they would be absolutely gorgeous for putting little presents in for children as well. Well, big children too, because I am obviously a big kid if I have enjoyed this so much. Now, have a little look at this. I wanted to just give you a little idea or two with the rest of these stamps, because I haven't even used them. Let's see if I've got a bigger piece of card. There we are. So I was thinking, I haven't used these, and a little while back I made myself a little pattern like this, just with some card and some alcohol markers, and then I cut it out and used it for some of the dies that made up the shoes. So this would definitely make a beautiful border pattern down the side of a card. This would as well, but I'm thinking it would be really beautiful if you stamped some of that out on a white card, or some of this with black onto, say, a goldy coloured card, maybe this, or even the tan card. And when you had that done, you could make one of the little handbags or shoes or something from it, and it would be absolutely gorgeous, I think, anyhow. So there we are, back to what I've made here, and this is me finished. I've actually added a little It's Your Birthday onto that one as well, because I thought that finished that really nicely. So first one, Need a Hug, and as I say, Need a Hug would be absolutely beautiful on here, or any of those as well. Well, maybe not the alligator, because we're not really going to hug an alligator, are we? I know I'm daft, but I'm not just that daft yet. So here we are. Let's see what all I've done. Yes, don't forget, I'm just recapping here of a few things to remind you. Use some of your other stamp clubs, kits, whatever, and add lots and lots of pieces in. Sometimes a bigger border is nice. This one's the frame, this one's layered, really nice. And then this one, I really hope you enjoy this. I had no tutorial or anything to follow for that one, so I just worked around with it until I got this to work myself, and really, really pleased with it. There we are, and a little bookmark. These tassels are fantastic. There's one in the memory book, and I'll link to that. And there's a little place name. Thank you so much. I know the video has been a little bit longer than normal, and to be honest, I don't really like watching very long videos myself, so I'm presuming you're the same. So that's why I haven't gone ahead to make something else with those ones, but I've given you some suggestions, so there's loads and loads of scope. I haven't even used the watercolor pens or the glitter marker. I actually totally forgot about them because I was getting carried away with the card and all the beautiful things. But you definitely could make beautiful backgrounds with them, or just experiment and use them in something else as well. So don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, to do that. There's lots more kits coming up, and I have loads of things that I'm ready to start on once I clear this mess up. My desk is an absolute mess right now. You want to see all of the stuff that's out on it. So once I tidy that up, I'll get straight into preparing for my next video. So if you haven't subscribed, do that. Hit the notification bell and you'll not miss any of them. And if you do enjoy it, give it a big thumbs up, please, and leave me a little comment. That really, really helps me, helps my channel. And also down below, my affiliate links to everything that I've used here, and to the Tonic site in general, and actually to a few other sites. You'll find that all down below in the description of my video. It gives me a little commission on anything you buy, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. So thank you so much, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye.